In a far-off land, there was a great war between two factions. The first faction, known as the Red Land Army, sought to conquer the entire realm and rule over it with an iron fist. Led by their ruthless leader, General Xerxes, the Red Land Army was known for its lack of mercy and the bloodshed they left in their wake. The other faction, known as the Mountain Warriors, fought bravely to defend their land and way of life. They were a proud people with unusual strength and skill in battle, but they were outnumbered and outmatched by the Red Land Army. The war had been raging for years, and it seemed like victory was always just out of reach for the Mountain Warriors. As the battle raged on, the Mountain Warriors began to lose hope. The Red Land Army seemed invincible, with their giants and Scorpios wreaking havoc on the battlefield. The venom of the Scorpios was deadly, and many Mountain Warriors fell victim to their poisonous stings. One day, as the Mountain Warriors fought desperately to hold their ground, a great earthquake shook the land. The earth itself seemed to rebel against the violence and bloodshed, opening up great chasms that swallowed whole battalions of soldiers on both sides. The Mountain Warriors saw this as a sign from the gods, a call to arms to rise up and take back what was rightfully theirs. With renewed determination, the Mountain Warriors fought back with all their might. They pushed the Red Land Army back, inch by inch, until they finally stood on the brink of victory. But the cost had been great, and the victory felt more like a loss as they surveyed the battlefield strewn with the bodies of their fallen comrades. General Xerxes, wounded but still alive, stood before the Mountain Warriors with hatred burning in his red eyes. He swore revenge on them, promising to return with even greater force and crush them once and for all. But the Mountain Warriors were undaunted, for they knew that they had the gods on their side. As they celebrated their hard-won victory, the Mountain Warriors gathered around a bonfire on the bankside of a nearby river. They feasted on roasted deer and drank deeply of the clear water, feeling a sense of peace and contentment that had long eluded them. But their peace was short-lived, for suddenly a cry went up from the sentries posted on the edge of the forest. A group of strange creatures, part human and part llama, emerged from the shadows with bloodlust in their eyes. They were the last remnants of the Red Land Army, feeding on humans to survive after their defeat in battle. The Mountain Warriors sprang into action, drawing their swords and preparing to defend themselves against this new threat. The llama creatures fought with a ferocity that belied their gentle appearance, but the Mountain Warriors were not to be underestimated. With their unusual strength and skill in battle, they quickly dispatched the llama creatures and drove them back into the forest. But the battle was not over yet. General Xerxes, having survived the earthquake and the defeat of his army, appeared suddenly before the Mountain Warriors with a look of pure hatred on his face. He lunged at their leader, seeking revenge for the loss of his comrades and his dream of conquest. In a fierce battle that seemed to last for hours, General Xerxes and the Mountain Warriors clashed swords and spilled blood on the ground. The gods themselves seemed to take notice, for the sky darkened and thunder rumbled ominously overhead. At last, with a mighty blow, the leader of the Mountain Warriors struck down General Xerxes, ending his reign of terror once and for all. But as the dust settled and the echoes of the battle faded away, the victory felt hollow to the Mountain Warriors. They had won the war, but at a great cost. As they stood on the battlefield, surrounded by death and destruction, the Mountain Warriors knew that they could never truly trust anyone ever again. The betrayal they had experienced at the hands of the Red Land Army had left them scarred and wary of outsiders. And so, as they gathered their fallen comrades and prepared to bury them with honor, the Mountain Warriors vowed to never again let their guard down. They would be vigilant against any who sought to do them harm, and they would always be ready to defend their land and their way of life. For in the end, the Mountain Warriors knew that the only way to ensure peace and safety for themselves and their families was to be ruthless in their defense of what was rightfully theirs. And so, as they looked out over the Red Land that had been the scene of so much bloodshed and death, they knew that they would never rest easy until all who sought to destroy them had been vanquished. And so the war came to an end, and the Mountain Warriors stood victorious. But the memory of the battle would always linger in their minds, a reminder of the price that had been paid for their freedom and their rightful place in the world. And as they looked up at the stars shining brightly in the night sky, they knew that they would always be ready to defend what was theirs, no matter the cost. Like and subscribe for more tales like this.